Hey there, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Jackie.
Welcome to Slightly Unsupervised. We're best friends, business partners, and the chaos behind Bestimony, a ceremony we created to celebrate the kind of soulmates who don't come with a marriage license.
This podcast is all about friendship, the deep stuff, the messy stuff, and the laughs until you snort stuff.
So whether you're driving, folding laundry, hiding in your car for some peace and quiet,
We're so glad you're here. Let's get slightly unsupervised. Okay, today, friendship and mental health. Sometimes your best friend is the lifeline. How women help each other stay strong without becoming therapists. Today's conversation is one that's close to our hearts because every woman goes through seasons where life feels heavier than usual. Sometimes it's anxiety, sometimes it's grief, sometimes burnout, sometimes depression. Sometimes it's simply carrying too much for too long. And one of the greatest gifts women can give each other is a safe place to be honest. But there's also an important balance. Your best friend can be your biggest supporter, your greatest encourager, and your safest place to land without feeling like she has to carry your entire world alone. Today we're talking about how friendship protects our mental health, how to recognize when someone needs more help than we can give, and how we can love each other well through life's hardest seasons.
yeah. So mental health, such a big point of discussion these days amongst everyone, really. Wasn't ever really discussed when we were kids. Mental health for our generation in particular, which is the Generation X, is that we don't have a vocabulary. It wasn't something that we really discussed. I'm sure that there's a lot more discussion around it now. There's a lot more words to use. There's a lot more understanding of it. And back in the day, I don't know what we did, Jack. When I was a kid, there was probably a lot of times I had anxiety and
Mhm.
burnout and too much was going on, or maybe even depressed at times. And I don't know if we ever learned to communicate that to each other. Do you ever recall that?
No, not at
Yeah.
all. Not
We
at all.
just we just went to school and maybe somebody was like, "You're moody today." That was probably a word that
Oh, that was very much used.
can you imagine when you were in our generation, when you went to school and you weren't in a chipper mood, and everybody just called you moody? And it was like,
Mhm.
that'd be very cruel now to be like, "Well, you're just moody." That's not moody. I have emotional problems, and I'm having things going on inside of my head that I don't know how to decipher.
And I remember going home at times and crying and
Yeah,
not saying anything to anybody. Just to cry.
yeah, because you were not feeling.
And what you just didn't really tell anybody, you just did that. I remember
Yeah.
I was big for throwing my phone.
Your
My
phone
parents
off
would
the
get
wall?
so pissed. No, that's when we had the cordless phones.
Oh,
Remember the ones that you could
mhm.
kinda walk around with?
Right.
When I got one of those, but I remember my dad would come down like, one time he came down, he's like, "W Did you just throw that phone?"
Y'all.
But it was like, yeah, just getting upset, but I wouldn't tell anybody, but my parents knew, but they
Right.
wouldn't do anything either, they'd just take my phone away for
She's
throwing
moody
it.
down there. That one's getting moody down there. Take her phone away.
But
So,
it wasn't like, "Oh, let's deal with this, what's wrong?"
right,
They'd see me crying, but that wouldn't be like, "Oh, let's take care of this." No.
right.
It was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're just having you know,
Temper
a
tantrum.
tantrum."
Yeah.
There, we both said it. Teens.
That's the parental guidance we got when we were children. You're just throwing a temper
Mhm.
tantrum. So, anyways, all I'm saying is
Yeah.
that it's a new concept, it's a new dialogue, it's a new thing to be able to talk about these things. So, now that we have that in our world, now that people are talking about it, it's good to say, but let me ask you this, Jackie. How do you say I'm struggling? What are the words that you kind of use? I know that when I'm not on my game, I'm just like I'm tired today. Like
Yep,
that's
tired's one I always use
yeah,
because
I'm
it
just tired.
usually is, I'm tired.
Yeah, and then you just, like, want everybody to kinda leave you alone. It's a combination of maybe all those things, but the words that come out of my mouth is usually,
Mhm.
I'm just tired. I'm tired." Like,
Tired, I'm busy,
yeah, like
or like what saying and like overwhelmed is true. That's a good one.
yeah. Yeah, you could
Or
say that. I
or
might say that. I'm like,
mhm.
"I'm just overwhelmed right now." Like, it's too much going on. I probably wouldn't say I'm depressed. I probably wouldn't say that because it's not a word that I am used to
No, because
feeling.
then people kinda label you, and you
Right,
don't wanna be labeled. That's the
right.
thing that we don't like to be labeled, even though that's something we should say.
Yeah. Today, I'm depressed. Like,
Mhm.
it should be a thing to be able to say, like, "I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I can tell you today that I'm not all there, or I'm not with it, or I'm
Yeah.
tired," or,
I
so
need to stay in bed and watch TV and get over it.
right. That would I would
Seriously.
understand if I called you and be like,
Mhm.
"I'm in bed, I'm not talking to anybody, I don't feel myself, I'll talk to you later." I totally understand where that
Mhm.
comes from. It's day 2. I'm like, "Are
Yeah.
you okay?" Then you're
Now
like,
we're starting to
"I'm"
worry.
yeah, now I'm starting worry, yeah, that's when it clicks in my head, like, "Okay, I need to pay more attention to what's going on here because day 1
Mhm.
is just general stuff, but yeah, I think if I was gonna say I'm struggling, what I'm saying really is I'm just tired. I'm overwhelmed.
Mhm.
Life's
Mhm.
just too heavy for me right now, so in that conversation, though, is that why do we feel like we need to hide that emotional pain? I think from our generation, we just didn't talk about it, and we don't have the words. I'm gonna venture to say that.
To protect themselves from judgment,
Yeah,
avoid being labeled that we're too sensitive, prevent burdening others and loved ones.
yeah,
Because I do that. I'm definitely a example of that.
yeah,
'Cause I'll just be act like I'm Superwoman, I can do it all, and I'm learning now well, I've learned, but I always come back out of it. I can still do it all, and
right,
you just can't. You gotta
right,
learn to say, "I just can't. You know what, people? I'm just like you. I can't do it all."
right. You shouldn't have to because that's a struggle to succeed at something that it's just not capable long term to do it. You can get stuff done in one day and you can get a lot of stuff done, but the continuing
Mhm.
that on a day-to-day basis is where the problem lies, right? You can't just keep up with
Yeah.
that all the time.
It's
I
the
can
societal pressure
Mhm.
to keep it all together, and you can do it all. Isn't that
Yeah.
what it's called?
Kick I can kick ass one day and get it all done and be like, "At day 2, I'm tired."
Mhm.
That's the word, I'm
Mhm.
tired. Now I've done what
But
I
doing it
can.
every day is too
Mm,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's, I think, where friendship comes into play a lot about that because we've had many discussions and it was cute. I just wanna bring this up because Jackie's husband was just here. They drove across the country. He came from California over to Missouri to see her parents and then down to Tennessee, so but he got a full, like, few days of our podcast, right? Because he's a very busy man and he's a corporate guy and he doesn't have a ton of time for it, so he doesn't always listen to it, but he was here and, of course, we all went to dinner, but one of the things he said that I thought was really interesting, he's like, "Guys should listen to your podcast. They know how their women think." Like, he was an insight for him to hear us discuss all these things and to hear the perspective about because we do try to give a lot of what the guy thinks and what the girl thinks, even though we're not guys. We've been around long enough to know the kind of how they think about things. But he's like, husbands should be listening to your podcast because then they will understand more about how women think or how they feel and the difference between it. I thought that was an interesting point because I don't think you and I ever set out to give an example of that. But for him, he's been listening to him and he's like gained some insight to it, which I thought was interesting. So that's the
As we watched a movie last night, and there was a sad part in it, and he looked at me, and so I've mentioned on this before, and he's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "Yes." And he said, "Okay, then it is sad." I'm like, "Yes, because you heard that on the podcast. You're allowed to be sad."
right, right. So Rick has really come a long way for learning about women by listening to our podcast. So we want to invite husbands as well to tune in to what best friends talk about and what they say about each other or what they're saying about their husbands. So, anyways, I just thought it was funny. But this podcast is about friendship and about how mental health can help women. And I think one of the most simplest things that you could do as a best friend is to just simply show up. And I don't mean show up in a way I'm coming over. If you live close to each other, of course you can. But in in the world of Jackie and I, where we're miles apart, I just can't show up at Jackie's door. I'm cross country. She's on the other side of it. These are the things that you can do. You can show up by checking in, by answering the phone when they call, meaning that I'm on a heightened event right now. If Jackie's in a place where I feel like she needs more care, then when that phone rings, I'm not putting it off and being like, I'll call you back. I'm picking that phone up to go, hey, are you okay? What's going on? Check in and text, hey, are you okay? What's going on? How's your day? And just to be there. There's a lot of other things you could do. You can bring them dinner. You can go invite them to lunch. You can get them out of their spot. We get into our heads and we get into a really negative place. And sometimes the best thing to do is to pull them out of their environment and put them into another environment and then just talk about something completely different that gets them out of their head. Do you agree with that, Jackie? Like, that's a
Mhm.
huge thing for women to do with other women. Like,
Right,
just
definitely.
let's talk about something
Change the
besides.
subject. Yeah,
Yes, change
go
the
somewhere
subject.
else. How's those grandchildren? What are you doing?
Yeah,
When was the last time you saw them? Oops, it's been a month. Sorry, never mind. Let's get to the next story.
I know. Be careful what you're talking about, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't get them into a worse situation. But it is to get them out of their head, and women are very good at it because we understand the headspace better as women than men do with women. Check in, be repetitive, do some things outside of the norm that sort of let somebody know they're not struggling by themselves, but that you are concerned. Good word, right? Concerned. I'm concerned. Are you
Concern.
okay? Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you said, day 1, you're in a bad mood. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Let's see how tomorrow looks. If tomorrow I call you and you're a bad mood, now my concern is starting to come up. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
especially if you have a rapport with somebody and that rapport isn't working and they're not engaging and they're not doing the things that you would normally do, is a really good sign that somebody's struggling beyond something that is normal in the normal sense. So, anyways, but we're not therapists. Let's just get
No.
that out in the straight that
Yeah. Don't try to save them. You're not don't try to tell them what to do. Just listen,
just listen. Yeah.
encourage, be loving,
Yeah.
support.
Yeah, and, there is a time, though, that I think that and I have to work on this because you know me, I'm like, "Oh, I'll fix it. What's the problem? I'll
Yes.
fix it." So, everybody has a different way of handling things, and mine is to fix. I'm a fixer. I was in management forever. Tell me the problem, I'll fix it. So, it's a ongoing process. I have to let go of some of that because I can't fix everything,
No.
and, it's not really my job to do it, but you can get into that mindset, just listening. Sometimes I don't know if you've ever done this, but somebody's got maybe a friend calls and she's on a rant,
Mhm.
just let them rant, and then they get done with
Yep.
the rant, and then you're like, "Okay, I don't even know if I'm 100% paying attention to the rant because the rant is going on. It's repetitive, right? It's the same talking about the
Right.
same thing." Actually, this just happened to me. I'm gonna actually give you an example of this because, the guy that I work with at work, he was on a rant the other day, and he was complaining over, and I was like, "Okay," and I just let him rant, and he followed me around, like, chapel ranting.
I can see it.
I'm, like, cleaning the window, fixing the chairs and doing the curtains, and he's just behind me ranting the whole time.
You're
I'm like,
right, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely, I see
Make
that,
him feel better, right?
Yeah, and then, some customer comes in, we're like, "Okay, back to our normal lives." End it, right? You got your rant, now we're ending, now we're changing our environment, now we go back to a different environment so that by the time that that's done, at the end of the day, he's like, "Thanks for listening." I'm like, "Sure, no problem." I'm not sure I 100% even listened to all of it because it was repetitive, right? It's like because the trigger point always comes up and the trigger point keeps coming up. That's the part of it that is helpful because what he got out of his system was me listening to him, even though I was not fully engaged in it. I was still listening and I was, encouraging him by uh-huhs and mhm,
Mhm.
yeah, I see that. And so he at the end of the day thanked me for letting him vent. I was like,
Oh,
sure, that's not a problem. Next time you need to vent. He's like, I can't call my parents because my parents will be judging. I'm like, sure, understand that too.
you're like, "Just follow me around the chapel, I'm good."
So, anyways, it relates to friendship too, is that be there for somebody that needs sometimes to do that. And, it's more powerful than you think. And it's more useful to somebody's psyche to let them have a space where they feel comfortable venting. I think that's the hardest part, Jackie. We talked about that, about being judged when you're having a bad day, is the
Mhm.
finding the somebody that will let you be that and not judge you, right? Like,
Right.
they're like, "Uh-huh, I get it," like and that really just kind of understands you enough that says, "You don't have to sugarcoat this, so just say it, whatever it is," and to have a friend that you can do that with is so important for your
Yeah,
mental health.
and not get negative feedback. It's
Right,
nice.
right.
Exactly.
Especially in a
Just
mental
get
health
someone to support you. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in mental health is that a lot of it is related to your environment around you all the time, right? So sometimes those people in
Mhm.
that environment, you can't talk to them because the environment is the problem to some degree. Something's going on in the environment, which is your
Mhm.
family, your closeness, your husband, whatever. And that environment now has got you're to complain about that environment and you can't go to the environment and be like, I have a problem with you. You don't generally do that, right? You might go to somebody and be like, "Am I right? Does that sound like that's normal?" Figure out if there's some sort of connection of you thinking that it's bigger than it was than actually just saying, "Hey, does that sound right to you?" or whatever. Whatever those things are,
Mhm.
that's what friendship I think brings to this saying is an outside perspective without judgment. That is the one of the main jobs you have in life. Listen without judgment and just be there. Let somebody vent, let somebody have some time and you know, let them follow you around the chapel. complaining the entire time. And then when it's time for us to get with the customer, there I am. Then we put our smiley faces on and we go back and change the
That's right.
environment. So it's a good analogy, I think. There is a time though, I think that everybody needs to know is that there is a time when you will maybe encourage them to get some more professional help.
And day 3, hey, you might wanna be like, "What is going on?" You know?
Right, right.
Maybe you should seek some, a doctor,
Mhm,
there might be some other issues, maybe some
mhm.
therapy or some counseling or, just get deeper into it or
And know the people around your best friend and know who
Mhm.
you should seek some opinions outside opinions about, right?
Yeah,
So
like a
if
husband or another friend or yeah,
right,
definitely.
yeah, like, I'll
Or
just
their
bring you
children, even their children, if they're
in their
close to their
children.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll just bring you up as an instance because I think it's important to
Mhm.
give sort of an example on that is that Jackie's first husband and I were not friends. I was not a fan. Second husband, love him. He's sweet. But if Jackie had a mental health problem when she was with first husband, I would not seek the first husband's advice because I would not feel comfortable. I would not feel safe in that environment, right? So there would probably be, if Jackie was having an issue, I'd probably try to venture into her brothers or sisters, somewhere where I felt like safety was there versus the environment she was in.
Because he'd be trying to put me in a straitjacket in a loony
Yeah.
bin so they'd
Yeah.
never see me again.
Yeah, I'd be more like in a defensive position, like, what are you gonna do to her? I'd be like, let me text and be like, "Hey, or have you talked to her? What are you thinking here?" So, know her
Mhm.
environment, know her people, know the things going on around her. That's so vital and so important. Don't put her in a worse position than she is. Like, sometimes the environment, as I have said, can be the problem. So
And with you, it'd probably be your husband or probably your son that lives closer to you, Drew.
right, be like, "Is your
Yeah.
mom okay?" Or I'm a little
Mhm.
worried about her. That's what I would probably say.
Mhm.
I'm been
Yeah.
talking to her, I'm a little worried about her. Have you
She's a
talked to her?
little overwhelmed, I think. She's got a
Yes.
lot going on, and I know she likes it that way, but
This may be the Titanic. She may
I've
be going down.
never known her to be in bed for 2 days, ever. Something's up. Even when she broke her
Exactly.
hand, she was not in bed.
No. I had to get my surgery, so I had to be up and running around trying to find a surgeon. So, again, know the person, know the environment, and make sure that the environment when you're seeking or encouraging help is that you're seeking the right person. And certainly, professional help is always good. Get a counselor,
Mhm.
get somebody to talk to. You need to work through this. Some of this stuff we can't help. You got to unpack it.
Yeah,
You got to unpack
definitely.
it correctly, and you got to repack it in a way that you can live with it. So it isn't always obvious. If you have a best friend, you know the conversation, you know the way it goes, you know the way it usually resides. When that feels off too many days in a row, that's when I think it's a good indication you got something going on there. So help them. So
Mhm.
do you have any other points you want to add to that?
No, just that people know that getting help isn't a weakness and it's wisdom and it's a good thing.
Sometimes you have stuff that you don't want to share and you need to
Mhm.
unpack it somewhere where that's okay too, right? So
Mhm.
but take care of yourselves too, y'all. When you have this going on, you got to make sure that you keep some healthy boundaries too, that you can't absorb every crisis a person has. You
Yeah.
can't join in. This is my analogy. I use it all the time with my friends. It's like the crisis has happened. It's a roller coaster in front of you. I always think of the roller coaster at Magic Mountain for some reason. And you either get on the roller coaster and you're gonna go, "Ah," and you're gonna zip around, and then you're gonna end up back at the same spot, and then you get off the roller coaster. So you either get on and join the crises and roll and go through every emotion that you could possibly do, or you can just be patient and wait for the thing to end and then deal with what the end of it is, what the resolution is, because you can't join every crisis that you've been invited to because you will wear yourself out. You cannot possibly do that. So as you get older, too, wisdom gets on into your head a little bit, don't you think, Jackie, about how it's a crisis. It's going to resolve itself. You don't have any real power to change the resolution. You just have to wait for
Mhm.
it to sort itself out and then deal with it. Like, you don't have to go on this roller coaster ride every single time.
No, no. Just they know as long as they know that you're there for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
and
they should. Yeah.
and encourage them not to take everything as a real crisis every time. Decipher between what a real crisis is and an emotional
Mhm.
crisis. As you're younger, we jumped on every bandwagon. Everything was a crisis. Oh my God, did you hear what so and so said about so and so? Call in, we're all chatting with each other. It's a big old thing. And then, you know, 10 years
Definitely.
later, nobody even remembers the crisis. I don't remember what happened. So anyways, these are ways you can help each other. Check in constantly, not just during the crises. You need to get a gauge on their mental health when they're not in a crisis as well. Listen more than you speak. Avoid trying
Mhm.
to solve their every problem. Encourage professional help without shame. Keep inviting them even if they decline. Celebrate their small victories and be patient. Healing isn't linear.
Mhm.
So that is that. All right, Jack, let's go into Bestie Rapid Questions. You start.
Okay, why do women struggle asking for help?
Weakness, can't do it. I don't. We have so much societal pressure to do everything that when we cannot do it, it feels like we failed.
Like I said, to protect themselves from judgment, avoid
Mhm.
being labeled also is another too sensitive and prevent burdening others and loved ones. Social pressure to hold it all together and care for others. Many women worry that sharing raw emotions will cause others to view them as weak
Yeah. And that's
or very
unfair.
emotional
It's
or
unfair.
unstable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We
It
have to
is
be
unfair.
strong and we can't be emotional when we are emotional creatures. So it's unfair for
Mhm.
us to have a man's attitude with a
Yeah.
woman's perspective and then be judged as a man. Like you
Mhm.
should be holding your shit together, shouldn't you? Like, no, I don't have all my shit together.
Mhm. Not
But
all the
I
time. I
Yeah, all
mean,
the time.
some of the time we can, but
No,
sometimes it's not all perfect either.
no. Okay, Jack, what's the difference between listening and fixing?
Listening means paying attention to and to understand how someone feels. Fixing means jumping in to give advice or solving the problem.
Yeah.
So you
You
want to
need both
listen.
sometimes, but mostly the listening more than fixing is in a lot of ways more comforting. I just called you and said, I'm having an emotional day or whatever. You're like, again, he uses this analogy all the time. I'm tired. And your husband's like, get in bed, go to sleep, wake up, you'll feel better. And it's like, that's not what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So, like,
Mhm.
that's the good point about women to women is that we understand the difference between those. So fixing isn't what you're looking for. It's really just looking for somebody to hear me out and understand how I feel. So I
Mhm.
get that point.
What makes someone emotionally safe?
The non judging
Mhm.
and listens, really listens.
Consistency and patience is what I put also.
hmm Like when you're
I
really
think.
talking and you're in an emotional or volatile place that you really feel like you're being heard
Mhm.
because it doesn't always happen. All right, Jack,
Mhm.
how do you support someone without losing yourself?
How do you support someone without losing? Protect your own well being stable, calming presence rather than getting overwhelmed by their pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. Don't get on the roller coaster. Sometimes they're gonna
Hmm.
jump on a roller coaster. You'd be like, "I'll be here when this thing's over." Like, we don't have to I'm not going on the ride with you, like, whew,
Yeah.
I'm on a constant ride. So, just really kind of supporting somebody being like, "I'm standing right here, and when you're ready to talk about it in a way that we can fix something or get somewhere, I'm going to be there, but I cannot go on every tangent with you." Like, when we were 20, tangents were very, very prevalent. We had a lot of tangents. We went down a lot. We were on the roller coaster all the time. I don't know if we ever got off the roller coaster.
I know. I remember listening to, the younger kids. You'll get so over this.
Wisdom.
You
Wisdom
just,
comes with age.
I'm telling you, you just roll my eyes like, oh my goodness,
This
these
is
young
so not a
girls.
problem. This is such not a
Yeah.
big deal.
You
I know.
don't even understand.
Okay, Jack. Well, here's the last one. What's one thing every struggling woman needs to hear?
Okay. You do not have to carry all of this alone, and it's okay to rest, is what I feel. And I am here for you no matter what the mess looks like.
Yeah,
You are doing the best you can with what you have.
those are good ones, Jack. Good ones.
Thanks.
All right. I think one of the greatest gifts we can give another woman is permission to stop pretending she's okay. Not because we're going to fix everything, but because nobody should carry life's heaviest moments alone. Friendship doesn't replace therapy, it doesn't replace doctors, it doesn't replace professional support. But friendship reminds us that we're worth getting help. Sometimes the first step toward healing is simply hearing another woman say, I love you too much to let you carry this by yourself. If this conversation made you think of your person, call her, text her, take her to coffee, and tell her she matters because some of life's greatest love stories don't come with a marriage license.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with your ride or die best friend.
Want to see some of these incredible friendships we've celebrated? Visit our Bestimony YouTube channel where women from all over the country share their stories of the friendship that changed their lives.
And if one day you'd like to celebrate your own friendship, we'd love to welcome you to Nashville.
Until next time, keep showing up, keep cheering each other on, and keep celebrating the women who make your life better. We'll see you next time on Slightly Unsupervised.
We stick together, ride or die to the moon, and no amount of space could ever come between us two. The reuniting's like we've never been apart, and every single time we're eye to eye and heart to heart. There's not enough words to describe what you mean to me. Through heartaches and ups and downs in this life, you've stayed right next to me. I vow to make you laugh till you cry and talk about everything under the moon. The definition of a best friend is you. Is you. And we'll keep dancing through the rain, forever connected. Same page, we're writing our story every day. We'll keep on growing, ever change.